Hello?
Hi, is this the Kingdom Hall?
It is.
Oh, I just have a quick question I was wondering if someone could help me with.
Okay.
Well, I read this quote from a Watchtower, and it wasn't in the actual, hard copy, so I was just wondering if this is real or if someone's just making this up. Maybe you could somebody check it for me?
Was it on the website?
Oh, I don't know if it's on the website or not. I didn't even think to look there. Do they have all of the publications on there?
Yes.
It's not too old or anything, but
yeah, it should be on there.
Did you ever hear this one? It's just pretty short. I was just gonna tell you what it said. It said, it's an article about, let's see, what was it called? From 2015. It's called 7 Shepherds, 8 Dukes, What They Mean for Us Today. And it said that it's about, listening to the governing body. And so what it says here in the quote, it says, at that time, the life-saving direction that we receive from Jehovah's organization may not appear practical from a human standpoint. All of us must be ready to obey any instructions we may receive, whether these appear sound from a strategic or human standpoint or not.
I was just getting on the website. You said it was from April of 2015?
Let's see. Let me look at that again. November 15th, 2015, page 20.
Watchtower.
Have you ever heard anything like that?
That will definitely be on the website, that article, if it's accurate.
But I mean the content of what I said, have you ever heard anything like that? Did you notice it?
It makes sense if you think about the Israelites at the Red Sea. Jehovah was telling them to march through the sea with the armies behind them,
Oh, so they're
make sense to the people.
So they're parallel to like a Moses type. They're like a prophet like Moses.
Had a plan. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying from the strategic part,
I
could see where.
Well, it doesn't make any sense unless they're a parallel to like Moses, a prophet. He was a prophet, the mediator of the old covenant.
Right. I haven't, if I did read that article, it's been a while, so I don't remember. But I would suggest just getting on the website and reading the whole article and getting the context around it, because sometimes that sheds light on what that, quote actually means. Or
is that surprising to you? Are you like all on board with that? Is the typical witness all on board with that kind of idea?
Where are you calling from?
Oh, my house.
Oh, okay. I just wondered. I didn't know, where you were. We are given direction, and that's what saved the Israelites' life, is following the direction that God gave them. So.
Okay, so whatever they say is what God is telling you? You're equating it with God?
No, definitely not. Definitely not.
But well, why would anybody obey any instruction you may receive, whether it makes sense to you or not? I mean, I'm blown away by this. It's scary.
It can be. But,
Do they encourage independent thinking in general?
We all have our own minds and can make up our decisions what we want to do with the direction that we're given. It's not like we're blindly following.
Well, that's exactly what that quote sounds like, though. It says it doesn't matter if it makes sense to you or not.
We can still choose whether to follow the direction or not.
Well, what happens if you don't? Do you get in trouble?
Oh, no.
You don't?
If we're given direction and we don't follow it, that's our choice.
What about the disfellowshipping? I've heard a lot about it. I heard that even people who didn't agree with the end being in 1975 and said so out loud were disfellowshipped. And then, of course, didn't happen. and they never brought them back or apologized to them. So it doesn't seem like you can even, openly, I guess, do you have to keep it inside if you disagree with them on something?
I mean, you can say whatever you want.
Really?
I mean, just because you disagree with what somebody says or doesn't mean you're going to get disfellowshipped. I mean, you have to.
Oh.
The disfellowshipping is to keep the congregation morally clean.
Oh, so it's only for
what I mean?
Really serious immorality things?
Like serious, right.
Okay, so no one's ever disfellowshipped because they, did a certain medical procedure or openly disagreed with something. That's all fine. That's fine and good. You can talk about it or...
Right.
Oh, okay. Well, okay, someone must have misinformed me about that. I thought it was you had to pretty much agree with everything. Because I have noticed, I've been following it for a while because we had a really close friend that is still in the organization. And it seems like when they make a big change, suddenly all the people agree with it. The faithful slave recently used to be the anointed people and the governing body, and the governing body changed it to just the governing body. So 8 million people seem to agree with that now. What they said was scriptural before is now very different, And so I think that's why people get the impression that you can't really disagree without serious consequences. But you're saying it's all fine and good. You can really openly, say you don't agree with such and such or whatever it is in the Watchtower. But then on the other hand, you're saying they're like Moses and you might get swallowed up by the Red Sea if you don't obey them,
I'm definitely not saying that.
Oh, well, you mentioned it as a good example.
I mentioned it as a reference to the strategic move, why it might not make sense to somebody, not equating any of the elders or the faithful slave to Moses.
Well, the illustration doesn't make any sense. It kind of implies that. But hey, thanks for talking to me about it. A great website is called jwfacts.com, and maybe you can confirm that for yourself if they said that quote.